this particular contraption can only create ghost blocks of pistons, but if you just add this little thing, you can create ghost blocks of any movable block you want. And I will try to explain now how this thing works and why it creates ghost blocks. So the first thing we need to know is if you unpower a piston and pull it within the same tick, you can sometimes move it if you get a certain timing. And the reason for this is if you unpower the piston, before it gets converted to block 36, it gets into this interesting state. And while it's in this state, it's movable. The block down here, at least, is movable. Now this happens in one tick, but with zero tick technology, we can actually move this block. And the zero tick I'm using is a zero tick off bolt, because we want to turn the piston off. So this is a zero tick off pulse generator, so if I turn the lever off, we will hear the fence gate, but we will never see the redstone turn off, because it's turning off and on in the same tick. And if you give this pulse to a piston, it flickers for a short moment, and it flickers because if it gets a zero tick off pulse, it gets converted to this state and then back to this state. And normally you should be able to move it, and there are even certain configurations where you can actually move it, but for some reason if you push it with a slime blocks, the server doesn't like the idea of moving it, but the client still likes the idea of moving it. So the client says there's a piston moving here, and the server says no, the piston should stay here, and therefore we get a desynchronization, and therefore we get ghost blocks, because the client thinks here's a piston and the server thinks here is not a piston. And that's basically how this thing works. It's just a zero tick off pulse generator leading into a piston and a sticky piston with a slime block on the side. So another thing that not many people know probably is if there are many updates happening at once, sometimes the client and the server will synchronize a section, and a section is a 16th of a chunk. It's kind of the Y chunk. It's a 16 by 16 by 16 area. And if you have many updates happening at once in a section, for some reason it sometimes decides to just resynchronize the entire section, and therefore all ghost blocks within a 16 by 16 by 16 area gets deleted. That's something that might be useful. For example, you can make a ghost block door. Now this circuit is kind of messy, so you can do it a lot better, but it's just for demonstration purposes. So you can make kind of a ghost block door, and then you can instantly open it by just deleting all ghost blocks within a section. And the last thing I want to show you is here we have a piston facing sidewards. What I will do, I will push the ghost block of a piston facing upwards in here, so the server thinks the piston is facing sidewards and the client thinks the piston is facing upwards. And if we give this a pulse, this piston we synchronize it, but the client has time to extend a piston head upwards. Therefore we get this ghost piston head right here. It isn't actually there, it's a ghost block. And you can use this to push a block for the client, but not for the server. And something that's also very interesting is that you can use this contraption to pull a block for the client, but not for the server. So you have kind of a piston that works for the client, but not for the server. And if you pull a block for the client, but not for the server, you can get also invisible blocks. So the client thinks here's air, but the server thinks here is a solid block, an iron block. And it's basically an invisible block. And yeah,